Yeah, now you can hear me. Good morning, everyone. James Jackson, executive producer, Light Thief Productions. How you doing? Coming to you live from a sunny morning here in Philadelphia. Let's call it false spring number one. False spring number one, because the weather here in Philadelphia can just completely fool you for no good reason. The weather today looks pretty nice, if a bit cold. And tomorrow we're supposed to get up to 6 inches of snow, and they keep revising the estimates up. So good luck to us all. At least we're not in Texas, right? Also, happy implosion of Trump Plaza today. I'll bring you some video from that in a few minutes. And what I'm going to do right now is bring on some of my guests. One moment as I pull that up. I've been making changes to how everything works here on the back end. I have to fumble with things a little bit more, like back in the day when I first started this broadcast. I've been using the help of a group called Zoom Test Kitchen, and they've been helping me out a lot. I get to test things and try new things, and really figure out what's going on with your broadcasting if you weren't sure. Anyway, I've brought up on screen our special guests, Angel Galloway and Saleemah Jones. Please introduce yourselves, your pronouns, what it is you do, and we'll get underway with the coffee break.
Hi, good morning, everybody. I am Saleemah Jones. Pronouns would be her and she. I am the founder and executive director of Put Your Play on Productions. We are a 501c3 nonprofit theater company where we write, direct, and produce original plays with a social conscience.
Awesome.
I I am Angel Galloway, and I'm the general manager, head of tech, assistant director for Put Your Play On. I also have a strong healthcare background, so with the social messages that Pupo's Plays put on, it's in line with my healthcare and social passion.
Awesome. And I understand you have a show coming up. Is that correct? The actually a show I'm really interested in. Sorry, I've lost the card here in all my shuffling. Let me pull it up. Oh, good morning. This is what happens when you're producing the show yourself and doing the tech and juggling things like guests as they come in. The Black Centric Showcase live on Zoom. Tell us a bit about it.
Angel, I'll let you take that.
Okay, so as we've been putting on virtual productions, we focus on plays, but we did want to have a production where it focuses on our artists. And since it was Black History Month, we decided, okay, let's put on a showcase where we could just feature artists from across the country, and they can just show us their talent. Keep it Black focused. It doesn't necessarily have to represent Black history, it just has to be Black focused, because history is always in the making. So our artists are coming with some poetry, some monologues, we got some rap, some skits. So they're just really bringing in all that talent, talking about social issues. Now there is some history going on, and even quite a few. I think most of the pieces are original pieces too. So this is going to be really great. I cannot wait for this.
Definitely, definitely wanted to showcase the artist platform. That's one of the things that we want to do with Put Your Play on Productions. As we write, direct, and produce our original plays, we know that we are not the only voice out there. There are so many other voices out there, and we definitely want to be the platform for those voices to get out into the world.
So how so it says you're going live via Zoom. I know I've been experimenting with the on Zoom platform. How are you guys handling tickets and going live on Zoom? Are you using a Zoom webinar format? Are you using like a Zoom chat format? What you doing?
Tickets can be, you can go to our website. Our website is Put Your Play on. That's PUTURPLAYON.com and /productions. Or if you just go to putyourplayon.com, go to productions, you can purchase tickets. And as far as the format, we're going to be doing it in Zoom. It's going to be in webinar format. We found that has been like the most effective format for us to use as we're putting on our virtual production.
Nice. What's your experience with webinar been like? I know it's for like I'm a relatively small production company, so I haven't even invested in the full webinar license. So I'm wondering how your experience. I've done a webinar or two on other folks, on clients' accounts, but what's your experience with webinar been like?
Oh, it's great. We really enjoy it. There are some things we can't um, control, of course, like tech issues, but the only challenge we have is when you're trying to play music while someone's talking. You can't really have two sounds going at once. But as far as using that format, it comes across good. It just presents the performers. We use PowerPoint as our slides and cards in between and before and after the production. Um, the interaction in the chat box allows us to interact with the audience. That's the only thing we can't do is see the audience, but we can interact with them in the chat box, which is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm also the VP of the Philadelphia Dramatist Center, the PDC, and
Mm.
we did a little experiment this weekend with audience interaction. We had a VIP Zoom where we encouraged our audience members to keep their cameras and microphones on, and have that audience interaction with the actors, because after they were done on the stage Zoom, I sent them over to the VIP Zoom so they could interact with the rest of the audience as the rest of the show progressed. Um, but yeah, it's interesting. Like as we do more in this digital era, like the different experiments that are happening in theater. You know, what other have you tried any other experiments in the digital realm at all, or is this your first thing with the put your play on that you're doing in the digital area?
No, this is probably our fourth digital production. When the pandemic hit last year, we had just finished up a live stage production and kind of wanted to stay in tune what we were doing. Our actors were, still biting at the bit of wanting to keep that performance going. So we performed the last stage production that we did last year called "With This Ring," dealing with domestic violence. So that was our first virtual production, which was really great because we already knew the format, we knew the vision. We just needed to translate that to the small screen. And then we did a couple other plays. We did one called "Second Place Women Who Come in First," dealing with relationships and communication. We did one in December for World AIDS Day. You better ask somebody contracting HIV. So with this showcase coming into the 2021 year that we thought maybe was going to be a bit more open to theater, but definitely not here in California, as we just came off another shutdown about 2 weeks ago, and not enough vaccines for everybody who wants to take them. We'll be in this digital era for at least probably for the remainder of the year. But I believe the one good thing that I've got from it is that you don't have to just rely on people in your backyard. You can really make an impact on other people all over the world, meeting other people such as yourselves. I would take it if the shutdown had not occurred and this pandemic had not ensued, we would not be talking with James Jackson today in Philadelphia. So that's definitely one of the good things that you're able to network and meet with other people and collaborate with other people all over the world, share ideas, share performances, and things of that nature. So I think that's
Definitely.
definitely. And I wish I had met you when I lived in Philadelphia. I actually worked in Philadelphia and lived in Cherry Hill for about 2 years.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've been around for a while, but it's the weirdest small big city thing. Like, Philadelphia is a small place, but a big place at the same time, and you just never know who you're going to run into or who you might be missing when you try and operate in the city of Philadelphia. Sometimes you end up not working with people that you should have met like 4 or 5 times over.
Right. No, I love that. It's the only place I would move back to if I had to leave California. I would only go back to Philly.
Yeah,
Yeah, I loved it there. The food, everything. It was great.
nice. Um, so yeah, I mean, I love Philadelphia. I've been based here since the early aughts, and I lived in the area in the suburbs before 2000, but yeah, moved here in the early aughts, and I think 2001 actually moved actually to the city proper, and haven't left since. Just really like it, like the accessibility of the city. Um, I wanted to welcome also on screen Jay Sadiq L. Jay, introduce yourself, your pronouns, what it is you do or are doing now, because you said you told me you're making a little change from truck driving. Jay's one of our regular guests. You're muted.
There we go. How about that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Jay Sadiq, been a friend of James for a long time. I'm a photographer transitioning into video. I'm the owner of Intricate Photography and Two Fly For You Productions, which is an aerial and video and photography company. I'm also a truck driver that's in between because truck driving is driving me crazy with the lack of consistency. So that's why I'm taking a transition from that and focusing more on my own companies. I still have my license, but I needed a break from that right now because we're really not appreciated unless it's a pandemic or something crazy going on. It just seems like that. So pronouns are him or he. Welcome, ladies. I think what you do is awesome. I'm a big advocate for the arts because I went to art school myself. So nice to meet you both.
Thank you.
Um,
Nice to meet you too.
yeah. So let's get into a little bit of the news. Sorry, I'm messing with my layouts in the back area here as y'all are talking, and as time passes, the day keeps going. We've got a lot to cover in the news and things that are going on today. Wanted to cover alternate realities and whitewashing and history in general. I don't know if you all saw the TikTok video that went viral from the kid in Florida. I about lost my mind for a half a day because that was pretty much my experience. I grew up all over the East Coast. I lived in North Carolina and Maryland and South Jersey, North Jersey as well for most of my childhood up into the middle of high school. And all of these areas were very whitewashed. I was always the token black guy. And the history. First of all, have you all seen that little video?
Oh, what does the video entail?
I have not seen
Uh,
it.
let me see if I can pull it up real quick. But as I'm pulling it up, a young man recorded on his cell phone directly onto TikTok his school, his AP history teacher in Florida, discussing slavery and the slave times. Here it is. Let me pull this up. Let me pause that for a second. I'm gonna go full screen on that, and let me bring it up for you all on the window. At any rate, so discussing his teacher is discussing a little bit of history and what's going on in the time of slavery, according apparently to white people. One second. So yeah, it's an interesting take on history if you don't know anything about actual history.
Please tell me they didn't make it a rap song.
No. The
It's,
the teacher.
That's find it. Now you can Google it and find it.
I know.
I'll let you all hear this. Hear this in a second. No, the student started recording. I think probably out of concern for his own safety, and
Wow.
I think perhaps I think he's right. I think he's right to have recorded this. Let me play it for you. Turn the.
I'm loving the closed caption there, James. You're doing upgrades, man.
Yeah. Upgrades are going on. Anyway, here's the video, and you'll have to listen close because this guy recorded this. Sarah tried to record this without letting his teacher see it was being recorded because he didn't want to obviously get suspended from school.
How do you know? Were you there? Me?
Hey, the audio.
No, I can't hear the audio either.
You should be able to hear it. Let's see. He's pretty quiet. Let me back up again. Here we go.
White people do what?
They would crack the slaves with the.
They wouldn't
with the whip.
do that to
Nope.
slaves. They
How do you know? Were you there? Me?
Oh, you know what?
How do you know?
Hang on.
So one of the
Give
things
you-
that we learned.
Yeah, that's one of the things we learned too with this audio, this
One of the
digital
things that we
format.
learned with the Zoom thing, share the sound.
Yeah.
Share the
So
sound,
the
but make
so
sure you're wearing
the problem
pants.
is I have a slightly bigger setup, and I had the sound not routed to the browsers because I didn't want you guys to be bugged by the intro music. Here you go.
White people do what?
They would crack the slaves with the.
They wouldn't
The whip.
do that to slaves. They
How do
did
you
it
know?
now.
Were you there? Me? How do you know?
Let me help you out with your, okay? Before I kick you out.
How? For why?
You want to have an honest conversation? Let's have an honest conversation. Don't give me the ha ha he he ho. Let's have an honest conversation now.
Okay.
That's what I want. That's what we're here in AP for. If I call somebody the N word, what am I calling them? No.
Huh?
Ignorant? Yeah, ignorant. The N word just means ignorant. It doesn't have any other meaning and any other vocabulary other than you are a stupid person. You are ignorant. You are not well read. You are not well educated. That's what it means. I laugh because on the Florida boy down here when we came up with the term Florida cracker. Well, everyone thinks Florida crackers like racist.
So yeah, that was a little bit of the recording.
Wow. Wow.
That's not where the original cracker came from.
Also, that's not the only thing the N-word means. Obviously, if you can't say the N-word, there's a reason why you can't say the N-word in class. Mr. AP history teacher there.
Wow.
Because all of
Yeah.
it meant, I mean, yeah, if you want to take the Webster Dictionary, sure. But if, I mean, yeah, that's the Webster Dictionary. But if you take it in its true form of being and where it originated from, that's exactly why he's not saying it right now.
Yep.
Exactly.
He seemed a little aggressive for an AP teacher. Like, okay, is this your first time dealing with students? Like, you seem a little angry there, bro. Like, I'm thinking, I don't know, maybe some yoga at the class or something. I don't know.
Some yoga after class.
Something.
I mean, my
He was on
personal
11, man,
opinion
like-
is my personal opinion is he needs to have his teaching credentials revoked and probably have all of his history courses he's ever taken audited. But that's just that's my personal opinion. I'm also bringing up on screen while we're talking about this the implosion of Trump Plaza in.
Was he in the building?
City.
Was he in the building?
That would have been nice. No, that would have been nice, but no. He was not in the building.
In Jersey?
Yeah, in Atlantic City. That's the former Trump Plaza.
Oh wow!
Hotel and
One
casino.
of dozens of failed businesses. One of dozens of failed businesses, but he's a great businessman.
Exactly.
Wow, look at that.
And
Beautiful.
just it's gone.
Just like
I'm
that.
I'm a little choked up, like when they tore the Rizzo statue down. It hit me right here, man, right in the feels.
Wow.
Just it's gone. Wow, I didn't even know that.
I didn't know
Yep.
until this morning. I heard that they were going to be doing that this morning.
Wow. All right then, let's build something new and better and improve there.
Yeah, yeah. Let's help the Atlantic City economy. I think these lovely dust plumes that we see on screen can just be the start of a new and beautiful age for Atlantic City, and we can count on the people who are most directly impacted to hopefully improve their conditions there. Atlantic City has had problems over the years, but hopefully they'll be able to take care of their own now that they don't have they haven't had as much influence from the Trumps and other developers who moved into the area in the 80s. For a number of years, and so developers stopped dumping a lot of money there, and then they built a couple of casinos in the last 15 years, a couple of new ones, and so they're obviously clearing the way. There will be a new casino or a hotel or something there, but regular commenter and guest Cheryl Brown Lewis is saying there was a contest to be able to push the button. I wonder who won.
I hope it was a black dude.
Your codes to push that button.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I have it on loop here. I'm just gonna play it for a while. Just it brings me a little bit of joy.
Is it your screensaver, James?
Maybe. No, it's not my screensaver. But yeah. So I mean, it's nice. It's nice to see renewal happening, the Earth coming back. Hey, we had snowstorms this winter, right? Like, it's been a number of years since we had snowstorms. Maybe that was the heat of hell, like trying to help us.
Was there what was the reason for this building being imploded? I mean I like the optics of it, but was
it hasn't been used in
condemned?
decades.
Oh,
Right.
so it was
used in, like forever.
So it was empty, and so they're
Yeah,
gonna rebuild. Okay.
it was out of use,
We're not
and
busy.
I suppose whoever bought it decided it was better to implode it
And rebuild.
than to yeah
Okay.
than to
I
try
know.
and fix
I
it up.
don't know what the population's like in Atlantic City, but anytime you see a building being torn down or something, it kind of breaks my heart here on the West Coast in the Bay Area with the homeless population. It's like all those beds.
Well,
You know,
there is
can
a
we find someone to take it over for a while to
mhm.
house the unhomed? But
There's a there are a number of that's an interesting segue into COVID hotels and what's going on right now with those. Um, Here in Philadelphia, we've had a lot of trouble with the city. There's a hotel in Center City that has been closed for renovation since before the pandemic, and the ownership allowed the city to rent out some of the rooms for homeless populations who were at high risk. Um, uh, Hang on one second. Sorry. Anyway, sorry. My associate producer is trying to help somebody get in the room. I can't multitask that much. Anyway,
You can do it all, James. You can do it all.
yeah. There's so these hotel rooms were rented for most of from about Thanksgiving time, about the end of November through the end of December. And the federal government was giving money back to the city for those rentals. At the end of December, the city decided to stop allowing people to stay there, saying that it was costing too much money. And then after the inauguration, President Biden said that in coordination with FEMA, said that they were going to start supplying all the cities who were renting hotels for homeless populations who were at risk, going back and supplying them money for any hotels that they had spent money on, regardless of whether they had been promised money or not. So now there is money available, and the city of Philadelphia is foregoing that money because they kicked everyone out of the hotels, which is ridiculous.
Very surprised by that they would kick people out. I know we have that same issue here as far as in California, we have a really high homeless population. And we have hotels out here that have been housed by, like you said, the homeless population that's at risk. But just to kick them back out on the streets, I mean, has that risk factor gone down? I mean, it does that.
No, no, it has not.
No, it's not.
Not in any way.
Philly has never really been really proactive when it came to the homeless situation. Like, they'll evict you in a park just to replace a statue or move a statue. They'll make everybody just go someplace, or they won't dump funding into shelters to improve them. A lot of people don't want to go to the shelters because the shelters are worse than being on the street.
Right.
So it's like Philly's, and Lord forbid if we would have got the Olympics, man. You already know how Atlanta got down when it came to homelessness and evicting people that were in lower income housing when it came to the Olympics coming to that city. So I don't even want to know what Philly would do if we ever got the Olympics. We probably won't because our crime rate's too high, but I'm just saying.
Yeah,
it's despicable how we handle the homeless in this country, especially when most of the homeless, a mass majority of them are veterans, which is despicable.
Right.
Yeah.
I never saw that. I never saw that in South Korea. And they have veterans, they have homeless, but they treat homeless with dignity in Asian countries. We don't do that. So I don't know.
Interestingly, Philadelphia is up for FIFA 25. And I'm registering my complaint early. We do not want FIFA in Philadelphia in any time at any time. We do not want FIFA in Philadelphia. FIFA has, if you look into the history of FIFA and where they go in for the World Cup series, the World Cup final, they rarely, if ever, do anything good for the places that they're going. And it's something that will not benefit the city of Philadelphia. So I'd highly recommend, as we look at that as a city, that we just say no. Just say no.
Yeah.
I don't know,
You
what
know they're
advantage-
not going to say no, James. You know they're not going to say no.
All right, so I know they're not going to say no, but I'm just saying, say no. Just say no.
There's no money.
There is no money, though. FIFA does not bring in any money into the city that they're using as the host city.
Oh,
Yeah. So interesting facts about FIFA. When you sign a FIFA agreement, FIFA, for those who don't know, is the governing body of world soccer and world soccer tournaments. And when you sign a document with FIFA, they basically reroute all the money that you would get in coming into your city into FIFA associated businesses. So merchandise, for instance, can't be sold by local vendors. You cannot have local vendors selling World Cup merchandise or branded merchandise. They will not distribute that merchandise to the local vendors. They instead require the city to license vendors that in a series of through a series of business ownerships and own buys and whatnots that FIFA owns in essence. So the only industry that in any way gets any little bit of advantage is the hotel industry, but often FIFA, just like the Olympics, requires the building of specific housing for their participants and a large number of guests. So it requires a construction project that then
Wow.
all the guests basically live and work and pay for FIFA owned properties during their stay.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have to build housing for an event that I'm probably never going to get again for the next 20 years. What?
Right. That's why you can go to any Olympic city and you'll find former Olympic quarters buildings completely empty, completely devoid of any, because they're built like dormitories for the most part, and they're built cheaply and quickly, so they're not good for continued use, and they're not good for anything else other than basically housing the Olympic athletes. And so you end up with all these buildings that in essence have to be torn down if you want to do anything there.
That sounds very cost effective.
That I'll take a cue from whatever, the late night host that was talking about sarcasm this week, that for everyone is sarcasm. And I don't have a sarcasm horn, so I can't. Black sarcasm, for those of you that are in the audience that don't sample black culture all that often, is widely used, and we throw it in everywhere.
Everywhere.
It helps us get through the white supremacy a lot better.
It helps with the white supremacy. It doesn't solve the white supremacy. It helps with the white
just
supremacy.
helps a little bit. That's all.
Sometimes you gotta
Just a
laugh
little
so you
bit.
don't cry, right?
Right. Yeah, so yeah, no, it's not cost effective in any sort of means, and nor does anybody expect it to be. It's basically a way. Oh, and that's the other thing. Lest I forget, just you might think, oh, well, at least it creates a lot of construction jobs in the meantime, right? Mm-mm. No, that's the thing. FIFA has their own, and so do the Olympics. The International Olympic Committee have their own contractors and construction workers that they require to be hired during an event. So it basically creates a tenth of the jobs it should. That 10% of the jobs that are in that construction business go out to local contractors, but it is not a boon to anyone. Anyway, speaking of systemic racism involved with national and international efforts, I also wanted to talk a little bit about the systemic racism of what's going on in national politics right now. You have the stimulus plan that's trying to be passed, and as part of that stimulus plan, there's a proposal to increase the minimum wage, which would be the most direct way to give advantage to Black and brown communities, traditionally disadvantaged communities. Getting rid of or creating a higher minimum wage would affect the lowest segment of the working population, and would also and that segment of the working population is primarily Black and brown. I mean. We're talking about systemic racism that has been part of our society for generations.
Forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think if you, of course, increase the minimum wage, but I think there's also a dual on that. You can also eliminate student loans. That's another thing if you're talking about equality as far as economic recovery and equality as well. Mostly Black and brown students are the ones who've had to take out those large loans as well, where you have your counterparts not having to do that for whatever reason. I think that's also another economic recovery and as far as equality as well. So I think that can be a dual package. They can increase the minimum wage and eliminate student loans. That's definitely helping the Black and brown communities. You'll definitely see a surge in economic recovery as well.
Yeah.
For all of us who have student loans, that is, we're holding that money in, we're putting that towards X, Y, and Z, and that's not something that's being put out into the communities. And if you increase the minimum wage, that's more money as well that can be put out into the communities as well. So I think that's definitely a dual role that should be looked at the Biden-Harris administration for doing both.
I mean, and they are looking at it. The problem is the Biden-Harris administration is white. I mean, I know Kamala Harris isn't white, but the administration is white. Even with all of these multi-racial, multi-ethnic advisors and positions within the cabinet, within the advisory committees, etc. The administration itself is acting very white and protecting white supremacy, protecting systems of white supremacy. Student loans, for instance, there's a proposal by the Congress to eliminate student loans, forgive all student loan debt below $50,000. The Biden-Harris administration, Joe Biden himself, said he will not sign a bill forgiving student loans at $50,000. He thinks that, and to quote him, his reasoning is that those loans are for Ivy League students. Those loans aren't for Ivy League students, you fucking moron.
What does that buy you, a keychain at Yale? Are you kidding me?
Definitely.
Are you kidding me?
Ivy League students.
See, James, the problem is, if they want economic growth, but they do not want equality in economics, because they don't want a certain group of people, don't want people to look like me and you and the ladies here in their neighborhoods, in their society. They don't want none of that. And if the playing field start to get level, then we can live where we want to, we can work where we want to. We actually start doing what this country's supposed to be about. And there's a large population that's not having that, because that goes against the superiority that they thrust down your throats every single second. They don't want that. I'm not saying everybody, but there's a large population that runs things, or I'd like to call the dominant society, is not having that. Like, oh, okay, give them a little bit, don't give them a lot. Give them jelly, no peanut butter.
and that's where the revisionist. Here's the problem with right now. You know, we played this AP history teacher who's teaching revisionist white supremacist history, and we have AP teachers and we have news anchors and we have politicians spouting a revisionist version of current events, current history. And what's frustrating is it doesn't matter anymore that you could I can pull up that video. I can pull up that video of that kid, like, last week being taught that slaves weren't whipped, being taught that white people loved their slaves, being taught that you know, that the N-word doesn't mean anything but ignorant, and that we shouldn't be, that the word cracker isn't racist or doesn't have a racist origin, which is all bullshit, by the way. And I know all of my black viewers know that, but for those of you that are not black, the word cracker comes from the slave drivers. It was the crack of the whip that created the word cracker. Anyway,
yes. Google cat of nine tails. That was the whip they used. Yeah, cat of nine tails. Man, listen, you talk about pain magnified. That's an ugly thing to get hit with. Google that. Yeah, it's bad.
Anyway, so, and then we also have people teaching revisionist current events, saying Joe Biden coming on camera and saying, you know, I don't want to give debt forgiveness to people who took out $50,000 loans because that would mean rich people would get money. That's not how the rich people are getting money.
What?
The rich people already got their money because of those $50,000 loans.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They have legacies of wealth already in place.
Exactly. And it's the black and browns who have to take out, you know, 50,000 plus more in loans. And then, you know, you get a slightly decent job, but most of your paycheck is going to go to where? Housing.
Your loan. And your loan.
Your loan. So if you're looking for any type of economic stimulus as well as equality, student loans are definitely the way to go. Minimum wage, increasing that, of course, like off the top, and student loans, I'm like 100% an advocate of that.
And there's proof that it works, because you look at countries like Germany, where education is free and they don't have the gigantic amount of debt that Americans have.
Exactly.
They just don't. And countries that have free medical care, it's possible to pay for it. We don't need as much spending on military. Mainly if we stop, excuse my French, fucking with everybody, we wouldn't need as much money for the military. Start leaving people alone. That would help.
You actually think anybody's going to leave? You think the U.S. military is going to leave? Well, not even just the military. We've got there's so much driving our military intervention in the world. It's not just that, I don't know.
But the mistake that's being made with that is that enrollment in the military is down, what, 60 to 70%? So we're already being spread thin. We keep messing with people who are slowly getting much, much stronger and combining forces. The people that you send into war, poor people, feel downtrodden, feel misrepresented, and feel left behind. So this is not 1954, 1920. We're not going to just run to the draft boards, salute, and go off the fight. We're going to give you that middle finger that I'm not going to use right now if something major pops off. And now what are you going to do? You can't keep talking shit to everybody and think you got people back home. They're going to jump in and help out. No, we're not.
No, we're not.
No, we're not. No. And if that makes me sound anti-American, I don't care. Because I'm tired of being considered an American only when the shit pops off. When everything's cool and the economy's working and everything's popping, oh, that's just another N-word. Just saying.
Well, you said it, and you're right.
Stop poking the bear, man. You got to stop poking the bear. Just let's handle stuff in this country first. Let's look at Canada. Canada don't go everywhere starting shit. They just don't. Like that's over there. I'm over here. That's what's up. They just don't do that.
Canada be chilling. Canada's just chilling.
Canada is like the United Nations soldiers in the blue tanks with the blue helmets on. Oh, they there, but they ain't doing it. Like, y'all gonna jump in it? Not yet.
I mean, yeah. So anyway, this is all, you know, like these alternate realities are driving me a little insane. I don't know what to do about them necessarily, but we need to as a society agree on a reality that is real. we need to get to the place where we can not I don't know. I don't even know where to go.
I had a trucker buddy tell me, James, that he's really tired of hearing about racism all the time. And I said, I agree with you. I'm tired of experiencing racism all the time. I'm tired of not knowing if it's 1912 or 2021 because I can get hung in 1912, and clearly as 2020 has shown me, I can get hung in 2021. So imagine how I feel. I'm living it. You're a Caucasian guy. You have a lot of rights fresh out the gate that I'm never going to have one like them. I'm tired of there being two Americas. Can we get back down to one just one time? Can we do one?
Well, I don't know if you've ever had the one. That's the thing. Yeah. I don't know if you can get back down. That was never actually there. There's always been two. So, you know, tell him, hey, the guy who says he's tired of hearing it say, walk a mile in my shoes.
Right. You know, I was reading an interesting argument yesterday, and this goes to saying let's all get to the same reality. It had to do with student loan forgiveness. And of course, it was mostly a Black conversation. And a white person came in and said, well, if people would stop creating the student loan, getting a degree, you're not going to get your return on investment anyway. So stop creating, you know, the loans. And for the response, of course, was that's easy for you to say. Black people and brown people have to have that degree to get into the doors that some people just get into. We need that, you know, just to get in the door, let alone sit at the same table. Right. So that's easy for, you know, a white person or someone to say, to not, you know, you don't need a degree, or they have families that can pay for it, or they can get those positions without them. But I found that an interesting argument. She got shut down pretty quick, but that's that reality that some people have in their head that they don't understand the other view.
Right.
And it's even really crazy to say because there are a lot of occupations out there that requires that. You just can't say, oh, I want to be a lawyer, you know, and not go to law school. Or, I mean, unless I mean, depending upon what state you're in, because Kim Kardashian,
Right.
and I'm not
But
mad.
her forefathers created that situation. I went to Overbrook High School. We used to have auto shop. They used to teach you to be a plumber, a carpenter. Now I have to take out student loans and go to Mako or Allstate or Lincoln Tech to learn those things that were taught in schools. At one point, plumbers, electricians, and welders were making more money than doctors. And then the dominant society saw that, say, ew, wait a minute, black people are making money off trades? Okay, let's remove that. Okay, Italians are making money. All those little people are making more money than me, and I went to college. Let's reverse that now. Let's take all that out of schools and make those tuition-based trades now. So her forefathers made the mess, made the bed. You know, she was like the thread count of sheets, and now she's mad. I'm not trying to hear that. Y'all did that. Why would black people or downtrodden German or Irish or anybody that's American that's from a lower middle class vote to take those things out of school that benefit them economically? Why would we vote on that? We didn't vote on that. Your forefathers voted on that. And this, I got receipts. I'm just saying. Y'all voted on it.
Just think if we didn't go to school, if we didn't have a college education for some of us, then that would be the argument. Oh, you need education. You need to go to school. You need to do this and you need to do that. So, I mean, it's a catch-22. You don't want me to take out the loans and say, hey, you don't need to because the education is not going to benefit. But then if I don't, now I'm uneducated and now I can't get the job and or start the business or whatever the case may be that I want to do because now I don't have the education. I mean, it just can't be both ways.
Pull yourself out of your bootstraps, man. We ain't got boots, bro.
My boots were stolen.
You know how much boots cost?
I'm sorry. My boots have zippers. They don't have straps.
Velcro.
My mom bought them in the meat section when she's buying cereal. I got the cheap boots.
Right. It was either boots or food. I can't do both.
Tell you what, we're going to buy you one boot this week, and then we're going to get some salami. Then next week, hello? So now you walking with one limp, one foot warm. See, there's that sarcasm. You get through the day, kids.
Exactly.
I mean, so yeah, you know, if we didn't laugh, we would just cry. But I want to cover one with the last few minutes here, and I'm sorry I started a little bit late. I had a weird glitch starting the broadcast, but just wanted to cover one last thing, which is the PPP, the EIDL, and the SVOG, the Shutter Venue Operators Grant. I promised this in the title, so I'm going to end the tags, so I'm definitely going to cover it. And it seems to be one area where the economic recovery plan seems to be actually targeted towards minority and small business that is actually being successful. The SBA is running the PPP and the SVOG and the EIDL, the Small Business Administration. And normally on any given day, the Small Business Administration doesn't do a great job at actually supporting small business. But they've had a lot of focus placed on them because of the economic downturn and because of the pandemic. And I think they're really trying. They're really doing a pretty good job, especially with this second round of the PPP and the EIDL. We're all small business people that are in this discussion. We would be what I'm assuming the size of Put Your Play On, but if it's like most production companies, you don't have 500 employees. Right. So we'd actually be considered a micro business. You know, the PPP, the first round actually went to a lot of bigger small businesses, folks with around 500 to 1,000 employees. A lot of the larger PPP loans went to them. And they created this second round, which is being focused on smaller and micro businesses, actually making some of the limits like 300 employees instead of 500 employees, stuff like that. Just so people who are watching know, this money is out there. Go get your money. I'm gonna keep saying that like until the day I die, probably. But go get your money. Whether you're a minority business, a micro business that is white-led, a micro business that is female-led, a micro business that is black-led, doesn't matter. This money is out there. It's being carefully targeted in the loans so that smaller banks and community development groups are getting the loans faster than the larger banks. So if you're looking for a PPP loan, go talk to your smaller local banks. Here in Philadelphia, there's a bank called Republic Bank that's accepting new customers. The online banks like Bluevine, PayPal, they're all accepting new customers for these loans. Just a word of caution, the SVOG, the Shuttered Venue Operators Grant, that was created by the Save Our Stages campaign. It is mutually exclusive to the PPP. You can't actually even apply for a PPP loan if you intend to apply for the SVOG, which is crazy because the SBA has not released their guidance on the SVOG yet. The differences between the two programs: SVOG provides basically up to half a year of salaries. The PPP only provides up to 2 months of salaries. So that can turn into a large difference depending on how much your gross sales and and overall salaries are for the year. They're both basically salary protection programs so that your company can continue paying its employees. But if you're a micro business where you pay yourself, or you're a freelancer, or you're a business that even if you're just a pass-through business where you take in money as a business but then it just goes into your own bank account, all of that is payroll. So keep that in mind. If you're not making as much this year as you were last year, in fact, SVOG and PPP are based on 1 quarter, and every entertainment professional that I know was completely without money for at least 1 quarter this year. That quarter, April to June, where literally everything was shut down, and nobody had any idea how to make money all of a sudden. I was shut down. I earned 0 that quarter. So I had an infinite loss of income. So, keep that in mind. Keep in mind that you should be able to pay yourself. This pandemic should not be a preventer of you earning money. And that the federal government is constitutionally required to step in moments like this and assist you. This is a state of emergency. It's no different than if a hurricane hit your house. The federal government is liable to protect the citizens, and this is one of the areas in which they're protecting the citizens. So go get your money. And that's my rant on that. If anybody wants any advice on getting a PPP, an EIDL, or an SVOG, feel free to reach out to me via the chats, or via a direct message, or via an email. I've helped out a couple of people, and if anybody has any questions, there's a ton of reporting on this. Take it all with a grain of salt. None of us knows anything until the SBA makes their rules final, and until we go through the process ourselves. Because just like with unemployment, just like with everything else, every individual business is going to have slightly different results as they apply for these programs and as they try and get this money. I'm going to wrap up for the day here. On that note, we ran a little over. My apologies to my guests. I appreciate you all for joining me. Any last thoughts from all of you?
I would say thank you for having us on. We really appreciate it. This was definitely a great and wonderful conversation. Nice to meet you. I'm going to say your middle name, Sadiq. And I said, because I have a brother named Sadiq as well. I didn't want to butcher your first name. So nice to meet you. Nice to meet you as well, James Jackson. Definitely appreciate you having us on, and hope to see everybody at the Black Centric Showcase this Saturday, 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. Standard Pacific Time.
So that's 6 and 6 and 9 Eastern?
Yes. Actually 6 and 10 Eastern.
6 and 10.
6 and 10 Eastern.
Yeah, 6
awesome.
and 10. You can enjoy both shows. You can enjoy either show.
They will both be live.
They will both be live.
Yes, thank
Awesome.
you. I have the same sentiments. Thank you for having us. I enjoyed the conversation and look forward to joining you all again.
Yeah, definitely.
As always, James, thanks. Nice meeting you, ladies. Good luck with your show.
Thank you so much.
Or do they say break a leg? Whatever. You know what I mean.
Yeah, we try and avoid the L word as much as we can, but some people don't know that. But anyway,
my bad.
Yeah, no worries. I've gotten good luck so many times this year. I need to now. If I do McBoo this year, I'm just screwed. But yeah. It's theater, y'all. We're superstitious. Anyway, so thank you all my guests. I really appreciate you joining us. And do tune in to Put Your Play On this weekend. My associate producer Meg Angelino has pasted the links in the chats. We'll also put them up on the notifications and share them on our Facebook page and Twitter and YouTube this weekend. Tune in every week, every Wednesday morning, 10 a.m. We've got this same kind of live content for you. We like to talk about things from a Black perspective, things that are going on in the world. And we like to feature an artist or two, or sometimes even three, and talk about what they're doing. We need to agree on a real history, and so hopefully we can provide you at least some version of a real history and real current events here on Light Thief Productions. Please like, share, and subscribe. Like our Facebook page, subscribe to our Facebook page, like our YouTube page, subscribe to our YouTube page, like our Twitter, and subscribe to it. We put out information all the time. We're constantly posting current events and things going on in the city of Philadelphia and in the world. Whether they have to do with Black and brown populations or other disadvantaged populations, we try and use our platform to raise those stories and cover everything that's going on. So yeah, tune in next week. If you feel like tossing a couple bucks our way, subscribe to our Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Patreon.com/Light Thief Productions. Links are in the chat, and will be on the content, the post content. And so we look forward to having you back again next week. And thanks so much for watching.